First, I'm going to say, obviously, I don't know how long this video will go because I have very little memory and a piece of shit phone. Um, but also that, for the people that do watch my videos, I would have to say that, I am definitely on a journey on understanding my belief and, what I believe and understanding it. And I will say that majority of my belief does center around Christianity and primarily around Eastern Orthodox Christianity. Um, mainly off of a little bit I've read and majority of what I've heard from a certain someone. I just find myself just called to that way of, I'm not really called to it like I believe that was what my belief was this whole time, and I just didn't know it. Um, but I also like I believe about 70 to 80% of Christianity, if not 90 and 99%. Um, um, and it's not the fact that I believe other religions because I don't particularly have much faith in their belief. It's certain things that I have come to find in other religions that I believe and primarily believe that I understand. Because these beliefs that are in other religions, I do think they align with Christianity, and I think they're trying to think of the right words per se. Um, I do have like more of a spiritual druid Christianity kind of belief, I guess. Um, more of that aspects because I know there's certain things in my way of looking at Christianity that probably a lot of Christians, if not all Christians, would disagree with more than likely. I'm not. I mean, I am one of one. I am I am the one that believes this belief. um, but I mean, I also think like the belief that I have, honestly, I've my as you watch my videos, you can see that my belief is definitely being tested and shaped as we, you know, go through the time. And I mean, I will say that majority of my belief of things is primarily, like I said, Christianity, but there's things about, Buddhism and Muslim. I don't know exactly the correct term for their belief. Um, Not very literate, I guess, in big words. But I would say there's certain things in other religions that I do find, father in. And if I feel like if I feel like I could filter out a thought process or a belief through his, um, I mean, because I like mainly like when it comes to like marriage, like my personal belief is I do believe that a man can have multiple wives. I don't believe in this whole. I don't believe in the whole Christianity thing where one man, one woman. I do believe one man and probably no more than 3 or 4 wives. I don't think he should be allowed to have more than 3 or 4 wives. And I also don't believe that you have to have 3 or 4 wives. If you want just one, that's fine. But I don't believe in adultery. Um, I mean, because it's very easily, to say like, well, if my wife's not going to give it to me, then I'm going to go find it somewhere else. But you did make vows to that woman, so you should stay true to your vows of marriage. And your wife honestly should understand her role. And yes, part of her role and duties is to submit to her husband in the bedroom. That is my personal belief. It is her duty to submit into the bedroom. Um, But that's, I mean, I think that would be the Muslim aspect where I do believe that, you can have multiple wives. Um, Trying to think. I mean, I also do believe, obviously, I do believe in Prime and Omega. I do believe in the Father, Mother, and I do believe in God. That would be God in my aspects. I do believe in that there is one being that created everything. Um, but I also do believe there are other entities, not just angels and demons per se or spirits, but I do believe in the magical and mystical and fantasy uh, life. I do believe in all the aspects. I do believe in a world that we want. I do believe I one my belief. I do believe that's one of the things that popped in my head is I do believe that my view of Christianity I do believe is old version of Christianity, like before honestly all this New Age Christianity. I believe that my way of I think the Bible is probably like no different than evolution and the Bible. I think those are. I mean, I'm not trying to disrespect the Bible per se. Evolution, I don't really care because, I believe you can disrespect culture, but you can't disrespect belief or religion. I think it's not okay in all aspects. You can say that you're wrong. You can say that yeah, I don't agree with that, or hopefully have a civilized adult conversation about differences of opinions. But the full blown, just bash and blasphemy somebody's belief in God, I do think is disrespectful in all corners. I mean, I have my belief. I believe this. You believe that? Okay. What is your cornerstones of morals? What do you think, the purpose of life is? I mean, we can have a civilized conversation about it without having it nasty and childish. And I mean, we can live in balance, harmony, peace, however you want to look at it. And we don't have to and that doesn't require socialization unless you're like trying to like live in the same country or in the same area. Then there has to be a little bit of tolerance, which does take, I think, interaction with somebody, especially if we're going to be living near them. So even though we have different opinions, and to a point, and if we have different opinions that you don't want to socialize, fine. But if you're going to live not that far from me, then we have to be cordial. I don't. We don't have. You don't have to come over, and have a cup of tea and all that. But if you see me in the area, be polite. And we go our own ways. But when and I think that's part of this whole woke stuff issue. When you try to shove things down, your throat that just doesn't make any sense or is delusional. And it's not the same thing. I'm sorry, with all that young pastor that went and preached the gospel at Gay Pride. It's not the same thing. I'm sorry, it's not the same thing. You might not want to hear that what you're doing is seen as sin, but I just think it's really, really backwards and upside down for you to like. I mean, it just seems like this is what the Bible says. All right, and you can run away from it, but this is what the Bible has said for centuries. All right, homosexual is a sin. And honestly, whether you look at it from a biblical aspects or biblical aspects or evolutionary aspects, homosexuality is not normal. I mean, it isn't, and it does. I mean, to my knowledge, it does happen in the animal world, but it's an anomaly and a mutation, and whatnot, and it serves no purpose. It's just something that happens. All right, only because of humans having a higher conscience and that we're able to put words and descriptions on reality does our opinion even hold any value. I mean, because honestly, yes, I do think homosexual lifestyle and things just happen in the wild. um, along with a lot of other things that I don't really think we should be like, penguins. I mean, they mess around with, the dead bodies of other penguins. So I don't really think we should be taking notes from the animal kingdom. But it also, like, I mean, no disrespect to these people out there. If you're gay, you're gay. I don't have any hate towards you. But, I mean, to be truthfully honest, like, your whole lifestyle, it serves no value or purpose to civilization or society. It only serves purpose to you. I mean, because honestly, the very definition of, you know, sex is honestly, and why it's enjoyable is so that you want to have sex and then get a woman pregnant and then build a family. That's the whole reasoning for sex. That's the whole reason why sex is pleasurable, is to have sex. And the only reason to have sex is to have kids. Like, that is the only reason to have sex. There is no other reason. That is why, I mean, I'm definitely going to be teaching my son and daughters to take that decision seriously. Because our family does not believe in abortions. We do not believe in the murder of children. I always get that question out there, if your child gets put in a certain situation, what are you gonna? I'm gonna stand by my child because I'd rather my child be a mother too soon than a murderer ever. I'm gonna be by my child's side if something were to, by chance, be taken out of my hands, whatnot. I'm gonna be there for my child and my soon-to-be grandchild. Because as much as that child that's in your child's belly, it is conceived by a uncomfortable situation, it is still half your child's kid. It is still your grandchild. So I just don't understand it. I mean, I don't believe in abortions. We will not be doing abortions. I will not put up with it. And I do believe in shame, and I do believe in disowning, and I do believe in these old, ancient ways. You know, and I think those are things that have honestly missed out of our society. I also think we need to, like, the men definitely need to, like, get their shit in order, put their foot down, and put reality and civilization and society back on the track. But unfortunately, in my personal opinion, with how things have gone, I don't think mankind is, or at least men, are ready to do what we need to do in order to fix everything that's been going on. I don't think we're ready to that. And that would pretty much be repealing the 19th and telling you women to shut up for a minute while we fix shit. Because you can't honestly tell me that this society is well off. um, I also, most, I do like, also with when it comes back to my belief and all that, I mean, trying to, like, understand God's plan and the very big, the very, just the very foreplan of, everything. I don't think the human brain could actually fathom the very in-depth plan and actually seeing and knowing that who God is. Let alone, I think we're able to see angels, but even they haven't. You have a Russian roulette with seeing an angel and not having something happen. Not because they're gonna do it to you. It's just to actually put their form into a way that our eyes could perceive what is in front of us. I mean, that's why supernatural. That's why, what was her name? They got the psychic. They got her eyes burnt out of her head because she saw the form. And it's not like something that Castiel planned on doing. It just happened because you were not, ready to see his form, his true form. And that's how I do look at angels and in some aspects demons. I think demons honestly are a lot more easier to look at. Um, I mean, I do think you're gonna be scared, but I think you're gonna like it's gonna be more like a spiritual, mental snap if you're not ready to. I think angels are more of a physical. They cause problems with your physical if you're not ready to see their form. Demons, they're more of a spiritual and mental. If you're not ready to comprehend what a demon truly looks like, uh, that's when you start talking to yourself. Seeing an angel, I think you have a chance of possibly dying physically, and then your soul just goes where it's supposed to be. Um, but I mean, I have my own personal belief on how humanity was born and life started and what happened. Um, because I do think there was, I mean, obviously, like Jesus coming to Earth was a big moment in our history. Um, but I don't think was like the only big moment. I think there's been a few moments, everything that's happened from Jesus to now. I think it has just been foretold things that have been told. But I do think there were bigger things happening in the past that came to lead up to Jesus coming. Um, I also do. I mean, I think also like when it comes to Prime and Omega, Father and Mother, God. I do think like I think all if planet Earth did share this planet with other life forms, magical creatures in that matter speaking, or just humans, I think everybody like when they're talking about God per se, God in matter speaking, I do think they're talking about the same God. Um, I just think they're talking about it from their how they were told the story in a matter of speaking. And I think over time it's no different. Like I'm not trying to be racist, but it's no different than a Chinese whisper. When somebody hears something, then somebody hears something, and then by the time it gets back to you, um, the story is completely different. I think that's pretty much how religion in aspects has come to be. I think everybody's telling the same story. It's just changed. Because I mean, like I mean, like I mean, I mean, like either there's God, there's many gods out there that have unlimited power per se, and then there's limited gods out there that have enemies and their own personal wars, their own personal rules and judgment of time, space, and reality, and form and shape and being. Um, and they're all what I mean. If they're, I mean, either all the gods are true per se, or only one is, or none are. I mean, is there really any other options per se? Either all these gods are true, or only one is, or none of them are. And I hope that God atheists are not right. I hope that God atheists are not right. I mean, I have doubt, just I think like anyone, any man per se. But I mean, mainly because of my personal beliefs and things that I've gone through in this life. Um, I hope that God atheists are not right, because I mean, I would like to see the loved ones that I have. So that's the main reason why I hope atheist is not right. Um, but yeah, I do believe in the afterlife. I do believe in heaven and hell. And I do. I mean, but I also I look so look. I actually have heaven and hell in like because I don't know how much like people actually talk. I mean, everybody knows hell is fire and brimstone, and you're gonna go down there and be judged and punished for your sins and your evil deeds. And when you go to heaven, you're just I don't know what you're gonna do. I mean, you're gonna go up there and just worship God until the end of time. Um, just walk around heaven. I mean, do you get to see your loved ones per se? Um, there's not really much. I don't really know exactly. I mean, it's real easy to just give a definition of hell. I mean, from what I've come to find out, not much of a detail per se of what happens when you go to heaven. From what I've learned, but hell is very known. You're gonna go down there and be punished for your sins and evil deeds, and fire and brimstone and torture and pain. Um, but yeah, I do believe in heaven and hell, but my version of heaven and hell is a little bit different than I think Dante's Inferno probably holds a pretty close, ring to it. Um, Lucifer, the TV series, has somewhat of an idea, and Supernatural has somewhat of an idea of. I think Supernatural probably has the closest, but it's not quite like that. I do believe in I do believe in heaven and hell has hierarchies, but not like the hierarchies we come to know. I mean, on that realm is straight spiritual. I mean, yes, I mean, women and men do have different frequencies. Um, but I also do believe in past lives, and I do believe in reincarnation. And if you have been, that's also why this whole trans shit is pissing me off. Because I do believe that you could possibly be born in the wrong body, but that doesn't mean you were born in the wrong body per se. That just means that you might just feel more at home in your female lives. Um, you might be a female, but in this life you're male. So get with the program. And maybe that's why some people go gay. I don't know. I mean, that can make sense to me. I mean, that can make sense to me because I did have a friend that, I mean, he was gay, but his reasoning on why he was gay was because he believed that his past love was a woman and that was his soulmate. And if he slept with a woman, he felt bad, like he was cheating. So he became gay. Um, so I mean, I can understand maybe if you're a man or a woman, and if you at least believe in this like afterlife and actually truly believe in it, then I can actually maybe see maybe you're more at home in a female body, but you're in a male bodiless life. Maybe I mean, I can see why you would go gay per se. But I also think that if you had somebody guiding you through your spiritual journey of your new life and acclimating to your new life from your old life, then I think you would probably be able to settle down into your new life and be just fine being a man. Um, in my personal opinion. But I do believe in past lives and I do believe in all that stuff. I don't really believe in the whole like reincarnation as a punishment. More as a choice of certain people that are allowed to have. I mean, because I don't think it's something that you can just do whenever you want. Um, I don't think there's a limit on how many times you can do it. But I also don't think you can just do it whenever you want. You have to get permission per se in order to be reborn um, into Earth. Um, and there's people that don't. I mean, I do. Yeah, do think you can like. I mean, but I think you would have to be reborn um, into a baby. Obviously, I don't think you could just be like most of these stupid animes. Where you're just we're like I don't know, just out of nowhere pop. You're given a new body. You're this old. This no. You have to be born in a body, and I think it's for you to actually remember your past lives. It's very rare. I think most of the time. That's why I don't. I think people that remember their past lives, I think that a lot of them are just really into the whole idea. I don't really think most of them I think they're just really into the idea. They just form a reality around what they like, and they just create, past lives. And all of them, man, I have noticed that a lot of people are very, and I'm not gonna lie that I am one of them. That I do believe in very weird shit. I'm coming to, grounds with it with my spiritual journey into, in psychology and religion to finally come to know like why I believe this and all that. And I mean, I'm not. I mean, I always ask myself if I'm crazy left and right. Um, like, I mean, so just to make sure, like, to actually really like dive into my thought process about what I believe and actually think about what I actually believe. And I do think it's very rare for you to um, remember your past life. I think it's a rare thing. I think it's even rarer for how much you remember. Like I can see a good chunk of people maybe remembering little bits and pieces of their past lives and maybe learning some more of their past lives maybe could have been. But I also think that would be really hard because you would have to find somebody that can read your soul, the ripples in your soul. That you would have to find somebody that could read your ripples in your soul, in your aura, to actually look in to your because that would be the ripples in your aura, in your soul, in your spirit would pretty much be, seeing into the mirror of of who you know you are in the past. And you'd have to find somebody that knows what they're doing because I do believe this is very dangerous, to where you can possibly shatter, somebody's, energy and cause, spiritual harm. I do believe that. Um, and I do believe in possession and I do believe in demonic watching. Um, I do believe that demons are here. I do believe angels are here. I have a hard time believing. I don't. I also do believe that um, God can be killed. I just don't think to be able to kill something like God, I don't think it's in our power. I don't think we could do it, but I just don't think we're nowhere near the ability to yeah, no. I do think it's possible. I just don't think we're able to do it or anytime soon and any time soon. Um, but I'm just having a hard time with. I know he's out there. I don't know. I don't think he's dead. I do think he's still out there. I don't know what he's doing, per se. Supernatural actually had a really good line in that movie about God being more hands-on back in the day than he is now. Um, and I mean, maybe that's true. Maybe he's not really hands-on as much as he used to be. Or maybe we're just not paying attention. I mean, I think there's been, I mean, that's why, I do believe like right now is a very crucial time with the pendulum. Which way is it going to swing? How heavy is it going to swing back? Can't we take it? Because, there's a lot of shit going on that goes against evolution, that goes against religion. And honestly, in my personal belief, I don't think it goes. I think it goes against everything in every religion. Honestly, what's going on right now, I think, is a straight up spiritual ripple effect, and every religion out there should have a problem with what's going on right now. And I don't know why we can't act like some civilized, intelligent, human beings that share a fucking rock that's flying through space and just sit the fuck down and talk about this shit. Or just get back to the good old days and just wage war with everybody. Like, I mean, make Aries happy. Because he's starving right now. In my opinion, right now, I think Aries is starving. Because I mean, if you just think about how much war, battle, fighting, conflict, how much it used to be, and how much it is now, Aries is starving right now. I think it's Aries, the god of war. Um, I mean, I do believe, and I do believe hell. I mean, I think hell would have. I do think hell, like, there's heaven and there's hell, obviously, for people that are good and bad. And I think that's where people go. Now, when people die, um, I do think you're pretty much cast in a fog at first, and I think you are tested and tormented and put through trials um, of your life. And I don't think once you die, like even I don't think it's a guarantee that just because you're a good person, I don't think it's a guarantee 100% that you're going, to heaven. Um, I mean, because I also do believe because of like how things are going right now, I don't think there's not many. Do you think a lot of people get lost like in this fog? And I don't know exactly for how long, but I do think for a while there hasn't been really many people, many spiritual beings that were able um, to keep the fog at bay. And I do think people got lost in the fog and have tormented into things that now live in the fog. So I mean heaven and hell. I think heaven and hell is a little bit out of balance right now. Um, Light is still on top, but I do think things are getting very dark, and I do think darkness is getting strong right now. I do think it's a scale point, um, but I think that's the very essence and aura of God and Father and Mother, um, and their children pretty much are the ones that are in charge right now, and they're pretty much following the plan. And I think honestly right now, like the plan that they were given to follow is kind of run out in a manner of speaking. So they're kind of just winging it right now and just watching and just sticking to the basic, manual of how to interact and how to handle things. And right now it's just they're just waiting, I guess. And maybe this whole time period is also a test of patience and to see how if the angels are gonna crack. Um, I don't know. Because, I mean, some angels did crack. They fell with Lucifer. So it's not. I mean, who's to say that, because Lucifer and those angels followed, that the other angels aren't being tested as well to make sure that they are faithful and righteous and, true believers in a manner of speaking, just like us. Um, but those are my opinions and beliefs of reality of what and everything going on. I don't know what to name this video per se, or if you put it up, but um, yeah, I mean, and honestly, my whole belief on father and mother, I think that a father and mother is even at a different level for angels to see and demons to handle. I think it's a lot more intense. I mean, it's than Odin and Marvel Comics coming down. Like it's like that, but just so much more intense. If God were to step down off of, honestly, Solo Leveling, the anime, Solo Leveling, that stone creature. Um, I would have to say if you actually made that one in a matter of I want, like if you take that and that would be kind of like the intensity that you would get from him in a matter of speaking. But it wouldn't be maleficent. It could, um, but that was mainly towards those who defied his word. I mean, but I don't think Angel can fully grasp, and at least majority. I do think there's certain ones that can see the full embrace of him. Um, I also do think like it's like, and when it comes to the darkness, I do think I think how to really put it into words. Um, I would have to say that I believe that the father of lies and the father of light and life. Um, in a manner of speaking, I mean they're the same being. I don't think they were at always. I don't think they were the same being always. I think it was something that that needed to happen, and in order to bring balance to everything in a manner of speaking. Um, so like Lucifer and God pretty much are one being in a struggle match. And that's only because God, he had no ill will per se to Lucifer. He has no real ill will to anyone. I mean, I guess in some aspects you can look at God as like, I don't know, in some, I don't want to be disrespectful. In some ways, a very intelligent, powerful toddler. I mean, because if you actually think about it, um, God made everything, but He sees what you're gonna do before you do it, um, and everything that you do that is in His name amazes Him. So it's like that. I'm not trying to like bash or anything, but I would have to say, a very powerful and intelligent toddler where everything is new, but everything's old. Everything's old and new at the same time. Um, that would be it's really hard to put him, the father and mother and, the evil brother or, twisted sister. That embodies, every aspect of time, space, shape, form, being, creation, destruction, life, death. Um, the very atoms and molecules that come to that. God creates all the molecules and atoms that come to give all shape and form and everything to everything. Um, so maybe like I don't know. Maybe God's ascended in a matter of speaking. Um, maybe nobody can reach God now per se. Maybe it's not the fact that God left. Maybe He's just become so into everything, that nobody can truly find God. Because if God's in everything, then therefore, how do you know you haven't found God now? Um, So I think that's one of the aspects. I don't think he's really God per se. I think he's just become so involved in everything, so hands on maybe, that he doesn't have time to per se talk to one individual. Um, or maybe, maybe he's just waiting for you to talk. Or maybe, he just, he's evaporated everything and he's just giving us free range now. I mean, this is the rabbit hole that I go on in. The rabbit hole of being, that's the woman name it, and I'm done.